So you walk by a guy selling, you go like this, huh? Right? Wow, look at how he's got that decorated. And you're in for a fist fight. Right?
Yeah.
You don't look into a cell that doesn't belong to you. That's a rule that nobody is going to tell anybody.
It's like the World's Fair. Everything is new and different, and amazing. It's really, you can't not stop. You can't not look, not look. Whatever I'm trying to articulate. Yeah, yeah.
Like you hear a fist fight going on in the cell, and I remember that this was one of the first screw ups I ever made in prison. We were walking on the top tier, and this fist fight breaks out, and I went like stop dead in my tracks, and I'm watching it like, yeah, get him. And this dude that I
everyone's like, hey, man, don't
came up behind me with an elbow and just hit me in the back and kept walking with me, and I was like, hey. And he goes, what are you looking at, bro? Seriously, keeping score? And I was like, he's like, you're gonna get me caught, man. And I'm like, yeah, well, we're good. He's like, no, we're not. That's on camera. They're gonna know exactly where that noise came from, you idiot. And I was sorry. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anybody to put this dude on game. If found guilty, will he go into general population? No. You think there's a chance of that? Way in hell.
No.
They can't, Wolfie. So here's the thing, and they have a vested interest, right? They have a responsibility to keep you safe. If they find out that they went out of their way to not protect you, lawsuits are incredible. This is going to be a guy that they are afraid of being sued by. He is not going to ever end up on one of any yards. He's going to go to 3 of them. You know what they are, right? He's going to go to the Dirty Deuce in Coleman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Coleman has a couple of USPs, penitentiaries there. Because of Diddy's crimes, his points, even though he's never been in trouble really before, his yard points are going to dictate that he has to go to a United States penitentiary.
That's right.
And the way that works is you have a bunch of different points that they assess you while you're in there. But one is called yard points. And it starts with, what's your crime? His crimes are all considered crimes of violence. And they are going to be, for that reason, he's going to end up like human T is a crime of violence. And certainly the anything R and the kid stuff, all of this, in addition to his fame, is going to mean that he ends up at the 2 in Florida, Coleman 2, which is a special needs yard, or in Tucson, Arizona, where I'm at now, at the penitentiary of Tucson. Although that one is more, he has a better chance of ending up there than any of them. That one is definitely more designed for people who have SMEX offenses. Yeah.
I really want to say he would go to the Deuce, but now that I play that tape forward, I think you're right. I think he will go to Tucson.
Yeah, think of where that's where they started Larry Nassar. That's where they started the guy that kidnapped Elizabeth Smart. So these
They're set up for it.
The really high profile scumbags tend to end up there. And the last one that really was a dirtbag that went through, this was the guy, and we covered it on my channel. This guy, or a lady rather, sold her child to 2 chemical dealers, right? They gave him, and they ended up giving syphilis and HIV to a girl who was like 12 years old, right? And or it might have been younger than that. It was horrific. But they sent him to Terre Haute, Indiana, to the USP at Terre Haute, and he didn't make it. They rubbed him out almost instantly. Literally almost instantly. He got a life sentence. It didn't make 2 weeks. That's a yard where even the Deuce, those are yards where if you put a freak like that on that yard, they're going to hit him quick. If they put him in Tucson, that yard has way more weirdos in it, and he's got a much better chance, I think, of at least, half-ass surviving. Right? It's going to be bad for him. It really is. Do you think Diddy is going to be handing his money out to everyone so they leave him alone?
And I've played that tape too in my head. Like, that is for sure. Like, if he's got some homeboys there in New York, like New York dudes, they're definitely going to try to pull them under their wing and extort him. They're going to extort him, even if he's completely safe there without sending him money, they're going to make it seem like, no, you need to send us money. I know I would. If I was his homeboy, I'd be like, man, don't worry. We'll keep you safe. Yeah. These cops might say you're safe here, but you're not. These white boys are trying to, kill us, kill you. You got these weirdo charges, who knows? So they're going to,
whatever story list,
try to get money. Absolutely.
And here's the problem with that scenario, because I know you've seen this play out. I've seen it play out. So I was at Victorville, and there was a Russian guy, and the guy's paperwork, right? I don't know, man. Honestly, his paperwork came back clean. When we ran the dude through, everything was all right, but they pacered him, right? So his Fed stuff was clean as a whistle, but he had a state charge out there where he ratted on a bunch of people, and it was, and that paperwork hit the yard. And instead of running him upstairs, they decided to see what kind of coin the guy had. And it started out with him putting a list in for 5 or 6 guys. And then another tough dude would hit the yard and be like, hey, why is that Russian dude not buying my store? He's buying your store. And I'm not joking you, man. Like, you would go up on store day, no matter what unit was shopping. And that fool, he was paying for everybody in there to eat. And it gets to a point where they either have to draw a line in the sand and go, I'm not paying anymore. Right?
Yeah.
They're either going to throw down or they're going to run out of money. I think he's going to be handing his money out. I absolutely think.
Yep.
I mean, there are vultures in there right now going, bring him here, bring him here.
Yes, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you're in prison, your life is trying to figure out hustles. Do me a favor, Wrenches, throw the link up to Casper's YouTube channel. And while you're doing it, while you're doing that, make sure that you put it up for Chase the Heat and for Relatable Reese. And then just do me a favor and do that about every 10 minutes because I'll forget. And I'll tell you what, as Casper knows, you're going to be seeing a lot more of the 4 of us together. We got a really ugly, we got a mission. Right. We got a mission. Larry Nassar was the gymnast doctor that assaulted gymnast. The kidnapper of Elizabeth Smart was Mitchell. Correct. Mitchell, I actually ran into in person in Oklahoma. And watched him get crushed by a dude. The guy's about 4'8". He's the smallest dude you ever see. Crush him. And the guy talked to a cop beforehand. He said, man, I'd like to hit that dude. The cop goes, go smack him. And he goes, I don't really need the loss of good time and all that stuff. He goes, in Oklahoma, you think we're going to fly you back here to see the disciplinary hearing office? He's like, bro, you hit this dude here. I promise you, you got nothing to worry about. And
I got a bunch of write-ups in Oklahoma because I knew I got to get it off. Yeah.
Yeah, they throw him out. They don't want any part of it. Larry Nassar, by the way, because this is an important point. Pay attention, everybody. This is actually an important point. Everybody keeps talking about how if you got the cash or you got whatever, you could be protected. Larry Nassar's filthy rich. This guy's got dough for days. But unfortunately, every single place he goes, unfortunately for him, every single place he goes, he does not spend 2 days on a yard before somebody hits him. They all know who he is. And once they know they can hit you, you understand what I'm saying? Like, this guy isn't going to fight. So even guys that aren't all that tough, but would like to look a little tougher, if they know you're not going to fight back, you don't have to worry about the tough guys. You got to worry about those low rent dudes that want to look tough because they're going to fire on you. I promise, man. It's going to be
and to be able to say that they did. I mean, I know I would. I mean, even now that I'm the most chill cat in the world. Like, I've left that life behind. I know if the old me, if I was there, I'd be dying to smash that dude.
Everybody.
And and write a book about it later.
I can't think of anybody that I know that wouldn't have the exact same attitude. Here's an opportunity for a trophy, right? Look at the guys that hit Jared Fogle. And by the way, that's a story that's got to stop happening too. Everybody goes, well, Jared Fogle only got beat up once. Where did you get that story, man?
Yeah.
Right? One of them made it to TMZ. This dude's been living in hell for his sentence. And if he tells you he's not, he's lying. Right? I was on that compound, and the cops used to say it all the time. They'd go, that dude gets beat on constantly.
Yeah. And everybody knows him, knows what he looks like. Even if you've lived under a rock, you know the Subway guy, and you know that he has sex charges. So
I got your $5 foot long there, brother. Right? Go on. Not very popular. So here's another question. A lot is being made of the fact that so this dude doesn't have an opportunity to join a gang of any kind. Right? There's nobody that's taken this guy. The only exception to that would be, and I'm not trying to make anybody angry, but we're just keeping it real around here. If he goes in there and starts saying salam alaikum a lot, there's a group of guys in there that will absolutely take him on board, and they will write off whatever crimes he has done because he did them prior to getting right with Allah.
Yeah. Yep, they sure will.
I think it's going to be his play.
Yep. And there's a lot of hideouts in that car. There's a lot of good dudes too. Don't
Yeah,
get me
there are.
wrong. I know a lot of good cats there. I mean, but you know, they're eating
I
pork
never met a white
sandwiches.
guy in that car that wasn't a low life.
Oh yeah. That not one. They're all
They're
bad.
hiding.
And but you know, a lot of times those fools, you know, this is kind of off topic, but you know, they'll come in my cell, you know, so they can pay the ticket man and eat a pork sandwich, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, everyone, you know, the real deal. I told the story a couple times, but those real deal guys, my job was to go through the shoe, right? I was going and dropping stuff off. I worked in Terre Haute, and I would deliver stuff. And if we had anything extra, I would go, "Hey, you fellas want something?" And I would throw. And I went to this black dude's cell, and he's like, "Yeah, I ain't taking that." And I'm like, "You want another ice cream, bro?" And he's like, "No, Blue Bunny. This is Cadillacing." I'm like, "I got Blue Bunny ice cream." He's like, "I'm not taking that." And I'm like, "Not an ice cream fan, huh?" He goes, "Not a white guy fan." And I was like, "All right, brother." Like, you know what I mean? You're the genuine article because no one's even looking. Right? There was no one even looking. Honestly, I had some respect for the dude.
Yep.
Well, Curious Potato says a Muslim can't attack another Muslim. They also, inside the system, that if you're on a yard that's got 25 or 30 of them, and you become, but he would have to eat at their table, right? He'd have to find somebody to live with who was one of them. But I think it's his only play. I mean, honestly, do this from a convict standpoint, right? And just for a little background, Casper's got some authority on all of this. Casper was a validated member of one of those prison organizations, right? One of those gangs, and in fact, two, I believe, at one time or another. And then got green.
I was in one, and then left, and then
got greenlit by his own gang. And this happens all the time, and it happens way more to the white boys than it does to any other. But they send you on a mission. You do the mission, and when the mission brings heat, they're not going to say, "Yeah, I ordered it." And then you get green lit. So you have a little bit more perspective on this. If you were Diddy, right? And you're sitting in there realizing, okay, I've just been found guilty because he's going to be. I'm sorry. It's the feds, right?
Yeah,
what's your play?
Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm the coolest dude on earth thing ain't going to fly in there. If he doesn't realize that you're not going in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to, he almost has to do that if he's going to survive. But I don't even think he's going to be hip enough, have enough snap to know to even do that. You know what I mean? Like, he might not make it to the point. I got his homeboys pulling him in first before he
anybody from the New York car. Yeah, anybody from the New York car. And if there ain't somebody from the New York car, you know, depending on where this dude ends up. So Big Meech just got out, right? Big Meech just got out of prison. And
sorry, I might not have understood the question either. So I was kind of, but basically,
there's no way to protect yourself if you're this dude. Other than, I mean, you could join the Muslim car. I think that's honestly probably the only shot dude's got.
Yeah. No other car would take him, even if they wanted to. You know, even if they wanted, like, hey, no, it's Diddy. Let's just take him. You know, he'll finance us. He'll do. But they'll get a lot of stigma, and a lot of the other organizations will go to their shotgun and be like, "Hey, what's up, man? You know that fool's no good." You know what I mean? They would get so much grief from everyone else that no one's wants. That's too much. That's too much drama. That's too much drama, man. No matter what.
Way too much.
And now that I'm thinking about it,
like, have to strategize.
Yeah. Well, let me finish this thought real quick. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I don't even know if that Muslim car would. You know what I mean? It's a lot of grief, and I've seen them take some real dirt bags. So I don't know. I do know this. He's not going to have an easy time. He's not going to have an easy time.
And Rain Marie has nailed this, right? Sounds like you got to constantly strategize in prison. You do. Or I mean, it changes a lot. If you're in there and your paperwork's good and you don't have any enemies, you got to watch your back, and you got to not be an idiot, and you got to stay out of the chemicals and the gambling and all the stuff that can kind of lead you into and especially getting high, getting loaded. That's getting drunk. You know, more people get written up because they got loaded and beat people up. You know, you got all that anger for so long, and now you start drinking alcohol. Gets in a lot of fights in prison. But if your paperwork's bad, like if you're this dude, the whole prison system knows who he is. He's not going to walk on a yard and be like, I'm going to blend in here. These guys probably don't even know what happened, right? I just got to get a job in the kitchen, right? Like you're Diddy, man.
Right? Rolling forks. Yeah. Yeah, hey, man.
Here's an interesting way in. Hell no, we wouldn't take Diddy. I'm a Muslim from DC. And I've done time at USP Big Sandy. Well, Big Sandy's ER, brother. Big Sandy is ER. I'd like to hear that. I really would.
And the cats from DC, you know, those guys, they got a reputation for being down and dirty. So,
true story.
Yeah.
For those people who don't understand, Washington, D.C. cannot have a prison. So if somebody from D.C. breaks the law, they go to the feds. This is also the same in the United States of America with people who live on reservations, right? So they are their own nations within the U.S. So if you get caught on the Navajo Nation doing something wrong, or you get caught on the Stillaguamish tribe from the Pacific Northwest, our friend Larry, Stillaguamish guys. If you do anything on the reservation, you're going to go to federal prison. So it's a bit of a confusing thing, especially with the DC cats. And I was never on a yard without you guys, man. I literally have never been on a yard that you guys were not on.
Yeah.
And you were thick in Lewisburg. God almighty. Almost everybody at Lewisburg is from DC.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, man, it's good to see you're out and doing good too, brother.
Amen. Right? I was thinking.
I'm assuming you're doing good. Your avatar looked like you were healthy and doing good.
And Big Sandy ain't no joke either. You
survived. No, he survived. I mean, the Thunderdome, whatever you want to call Big Sandy. It's one of the nasties.
It absolutely is. Tommy, this has gone crazy. I like your buddy here, Sam. He's a good cat, and I'll tell you something. This is. Yeah, see that DC State Prison was Lorton, closed in 2000.
Yeah, Lorton. Yeah. I just seen a documentary on it.
I've said this before, and it's crazy because I even made reference to this long before Casper found my channel and popped into the chat, and that's how we reconnected. But I had said on the channel, I mean, a dozen times where I said, there's only two guys from prison that I would talk to on the street. I wouldn't talk to anybody else I did time with. I'm just keeping it real. And there's two others, but they're still in. But people that were just such solid dudes that I would talk to, and Casper happened to be one of them. So when he came into the chat, it was a pretty cool thing. We had an opportunity. This is something that right out of Pulp Fiction. But when two guys get locked into a small cell, honestly, there's just a whole lot that you either ignore the person that you're in there with to a science. Like you read, you work out, you have 9 words a day. You try to eat not looking at him because he does it. You know, there's a lot that can drive you nuts. But if you get a guy you click with, we were in the worst, I mean, the nastiest of all shoes I've ever been to. It was cockroach hell, man.
You're deep in cockroaches.
It was, I mean, the worst cockroach. And that was some of the easiest time I ever did because of you, Casper. Like it really was. That was some soft time. I mean, it was an ugly place to be. The lights never went off. Salute to all the men. My profile is my uncle in USP Lee. Whoa, Lee ain't no joke either. He's finishing up 31 years straight, bro. Home next month? Are you kidding me? God, God,
good
man.
Job. Yeah.
How many stories? Boy, if he ever wants to talk, send him over to the lifeboat. I would love to talk to him, man.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that last month is vicious, man. That last month is vicious. You either have bros that'll just protect you and just like keep you out of trouble. Some cars let their guys go up top for that last 30 days. It just depends. You know, how he did his time.
No, it's a fight.
But you could have enemies there that are just thinking, man, he's leaving. I've waited too long. I'm going to get him on his way out. Yeah. Yep.
In fact, in the old days, I talked to old timers, right? And they would say, everybody used to check in for the last 2 months. And it wasn't considered, you know, you weren't checking in. You would just say to the fellas, I'm done. I'm going to the shoe. I'm right now because you don't want anybody screwing up your walking out the door thing.
And you're in your head. And you're in your head so much, man. You're you're so in your head those last days. You're just not, you don't have that same, like, I got Christmases to do. I got 5 Christmases to do. That's how I counted my time. You're thinking I'm getting out next month or in a couple of months, and your head is like, what am I going to do? What am I going to wear? Who am I going to get a hold of? You're just,
that's really some of the hardest time that people do. It's such a mind bender.
You start counting days. Oh my God.
Man, it's tough.
Thank God,
baby. I love you. I really appreciate that, man. Really
Thanks, Reese.
Yeah. It's pretty nasty all the way around. I wanted to ask you because a lot of people, you're not just a convict, right? A lot of guys that do time, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And if you do 2 rips in the feds, if you do 3 rips in the feds, eventually you're going to find your way to the law library. If you have anything on the ball, you're probably going to start writing you're going to do a lot of paralegal stuff. You're going to do a lot of stuff. I know you looked at what Agnifilo wrote yesterday. So instead of just getting rid of you, I'd like to talk to you about this because I found this to be one of the most unbelievable documents. So anybody that wasn't paying attention, there you go. Look at that. Yeah. For anyone that wasn't paying attention, Mark Agnifilo, who's the attorney for the Diddler, filed a letter. He didn't file a motion. He filed a letter. And the purpose of this letter, depending on who you listen to, Agnifilo will say that he thinks this should be thrown out, right? And the reason it should be thrown out is because this is consensual. This had nothing to do whatsoever with any kind of force, any kind of coercion. And pay attention, right? Force, coercion, tricking someone, enticing someone, recruiting somebody, right? This is massive because we get this misconception of what it means to human tea somebody. But if you're recruiting a girl to come to a party, right, and you're going to sell that person, right? That's human tea. It's not prostitution. Yeah. Once you start enticing somebody to go across, right, or recruiting people. But that letter that was written was his way of getting around. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. But there's a gag order. He's not supposed to be able to do what he just did. He gave an opinion to the entire world about Cassie Ventura being real into that. And he watched all the videos. And damn it, she's in control and she looks happy and she's sober. She's not on anything. Like, I don't know how you can say that from a video. Right?
She's the dominant one. Yeah.
She's the dominant one. Disturbed by this thing or what? Were you shocked?
I was shocked, man. I was totally shocked. First of all, you're right. It was a kind of a little sleazeball way to kind of put his little out in the world, his little, I don't know, theory or his, like trying to.
I think they're playing with fire.
Yeah.
I really do. Subramanian is not, he ain't no punk.
Yeah. And for real, this could be traumatic to Cassie. Do you know what I mean? Like, this could be like, do you know what I'm saying? This can
this is absolutely
harm her mentally. Yeah.
It also harms her reputation instantly. And the guy has absolutely no authority or no skill. Look, I talk about chemicals and substances and people getting sober for a living. Right? It's what I do. I've been doing this for a long time. And it's not an easy thing to look at. If you get somebody who looks right into the camera and talks for 10 or 15 minutes, I'll tell you whether or not he's wasted. I promise you. But watching 2 people in the act of coitus is probably a little bit more difficult to find out whether or not, and even if she looks wildly into it, this is obviously one of those things. This is one of those situations that the beatdowns and the fact that this woman's career goes up in flames the first time she tells this guy no.
Yeah, the threat of losing her career, her entire life, man. That's abuse. That's everything. It's like I almost like I agree with you. That's ST
all day long. All day. And the funniest thing is, if we can get a mod to keep throwing those up there because people are asking for the links and I don't know how to do it. I'm not very bright. I think Subramania is going to end up